You may go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much. Here we go. Okay. Our Rotary Club is the second oldest club in Jamaica. The first Rotary Club was, oh, sorry about that. The first Rotary
Sorry,
Club,
Ian, you need to mute yourself. Sorry.
yeah, I think he just did.
Okay.
The first Rotary Club to be chartered in Jamaica was the Rotary Club of Kingston, and we were the second. So we're the second oldest club in Jamaica. And we are part of District 7020, which comprises 10 Caribbean countries, so mostly relatively small island nations. This map shows the district. It's in gray. You can see we're kind of scattered. We have English-speaking and French-speaking territories within our district, which means that when we have district conferences and other kinds of gatherings, we often need interpreters. We have sessions at conference in both French and English. We also have a Dutch-speaking territory, St. Martin, but most of the Dutch speakers also speak English, so they just fit in with the English-speaking people at conference. So when we do have conference, we always have to travel, or most of the time we have to travel somewhere. We have conference in a different part of the district each year. Of course, for the past 2 years, this year and last year, we have had virtual conferences. Next year, hopefully, we'll be in St. Martin for our conference. Montego Bay is on the northwest coast of Jamaica. We are best known as a tourist resort. You can see a cruise ship in the bay in the picture on the left. But there are also a number of other things going on. It's not just hotels and beaches. We have busy commercial centers. We have educational facilities of various kinds, major hospital facilities, entertainment, and a whole variety of different things. These pictures should give you an idea of what our downtown looks like. A typical Jamaican home, traditional sort of home. And on the right, you can just see a little part of what used to be the town jail in many years ago, which is now a little tourist information center or a little souvenir shop. Our club does a whole variety of projects, or has done in the past. Of course, COVID has restricted our movement quite considerably, but we do continue with some of our major signature projects. When we distribute wheelchairs, we usually do it in partnership with clubs and organizations overseas. You'll see more of that later. We are continuing with our scholarship and literacy projects. Feeding projects have been very important during the pandemic. Water and sanitation continues. We'll go into more detail about the projects in more slides to come. This will give you an idea of the rural areas around Montego Bay. These pictures were taken either at or near some of the little schools in the country that we have helped in various ways. So you don't have to travel very far to be in the countryside from the city of Montego Bay. Wheelchairs have been one of our very important projects in the past. We've been doing this for years, distributing wheelchairs to people in care homes, individuals in their own homes, in institutions for the disabled. Wherever there is a need, we've given mobility aids and wheelchairs. The large picture in the middle of this slide actually was taken just before lockdown last year. This was our last distribution of wheelchairs in partnership with some clubs from Arkansas in the United States. We have also done maternal and child health projects. This was at a home for teenage mothers and their babies, which is a charity. And we gave them Christmas gifts, Christmas 2019. We've done other projects there as well. And in fact, we've invited some of their residents to one of our fellowship gatherings. So we've been quite involved until COVID hit. We were very involved with this particular institution. We've done a variety of literacy projects, handing out books to different schools at different levels, including a special needs school, which was the focus of my president's project. That was 2016 to 17. That was when I was president. We've had our children involved in story writing, and just in general, trying to stimulate children to love books and enjoy reading, including going to schools and reading to children. We give scholarships based on need and a good recommendation from the school to children in high schools. We currently have, I think, 6 high schools that we focus on, and we select a small number of children who really are in financial need and who will benefit from our scholarships. We equipped a library at a new school. When I say the new school, it was a new school building. It was built by the Ministry of Education, and there was a room that was assigned to be a library, but there was really nothing in it when the school moved into the new building. So we provided bookshelves, tables, and books and chairs over a period of about 3 years. Okay, and we received a plaque from the school thanking us for our contribution. This was my president project. We established classroom libraries, which included floor cushions for the children to sit on, and also in some of the classrooms, ceiling fans and other fans and other little things that they needed. And we were helped greatly by a number of clubs in Texas. The Rotary Club of Rockwall in Texas provided funding for the construction of the bookshelves. And then other clubs put together and brought boxes and boxes of books, which you can see in the bottom picture. We were very fortunate because that year, one of the districts in Texas had a cruise conference, and the cruise ship stopped in Jamaica, and they had brought all these boxes of books on the ship. And so that was one of the sources of really nice children's books for this project. And it has been a very much appreciated project, actually, because each of the classrooms now has a supply of storybooks and picture books for the children, some of whom are quite severely disabled. They suffer from intellectual and cognitive disabilities. Most of them are physically okay. We do mock interviews. We have in the past done career talks. We are actually invited by some of the schools to come and take part in their career days and career weeks and so on. One of our biggest projects has been to equip a school for the deaf with a sewing room, well-equipped sewing room for their vocational service. It's very, very important for these children to have skills so that they can have, get some sort of employment or even start a little business of their own when they leave school. And so we have actually helped to not only set up the room, but Rotarians and a Rotaractor, one Rotaractor in particular, have visited the school and helped with teaching the needlework skills that the children need. The same home for teenage mothers and their children was also in need of skills training, and we gave them a computer station, you know, desks and computers and so on and so forth. And some of our young people helped to set up everything. And that is our past president, Yamima, there, currently putting a desk together. She seems to have all the pieces there. Every year we do a Christmas project. Normally this takes the form of Christmas hampers. They're actually bags of essential foodstuffs and other essential things that we give to the needy, some street people, homeless people, and some who are at home and really in need. And the white bags with the Rotary logo on were actually made by the children at the School for the Deaf. So this was a way for them to practice their skills on something really useful. And we gave the school a donation, which they always need because it's run by a charity. And so we really killed two birds with one stone there, used, you know, two projects dovetailed very nicely. And we usually give about 200 or more bags of groceries out every Christmas. We have also provided a freezer to a school that is run by the Salvation Army in the heart of Montego Bay. These children come from quite marginalized communities in downtown Montego Bay, and it's the teachers really do sterling service under very difficult circumstances. One of the things they do is provide a hot meal for the children each day. Of course, during COVID, this has not been happening, but under normal circumstances, the children get a hot meal at the school every day, which might be the only solid meal they get all day, actually. And the school didn't have proper storage for the perishable foodstuffs, which is why we provided a freezer in partnership with a club in England. Another focus for feeding projects and other projects is the Blessed Assurance Children's Home, which is a home for about 30 odd severely disabled children. A club in Texas has partnered with us for many years in assisting not only with helping with groceries, but also we've provided wheelchairs and other necessities for the children. So we go there several times a year. It's actually in one of the small rural areas. Last year, our president, Nana, who is in the middle picture there, and France helped to deliver groceries that were provided, actually funded by the Rotary Club of Carrollton Farmers Branch in Texas. And the lady sitting beside the girl in the wheelchair is actually a member of that club. She normally comes to Jamaica at least once a year, sometimes 2 or 3 times, and she visits the home as one of the things she always does. Our water tank project has been one of the most successful we've ever done. It started in 2015, and so far we have given about 36 water tanks, mostly to rural schools that have very inconsistent water supply. In some of these areas, the water pressure rises in the night when nobody is using the pipe water. And so the tank fills up in the night. And so during the day, if the water pressure goes down, the school still has a water supply in the tank from the water that's filled up in the night. We have continued with this project during COVID. Schools have been closed officially, but we've been able to gain access to schools and continue installing tanks, which of course is very, very important now that hand washing has become absolutely crucial. So we're still doing that, and we're planning to do more in the months to come. Every tank, most of the tanks have been sponsored by clubs overseas, and we make sure that we acknowledge their assistance by putting a sign on each tank saying exactly who provided it. We have Interact, Rotaract and Early Act clubs in and around Montego Bay. The Interact and Rotaract clubs have continued having their meetings online. The Rotaractors have very lively meetings every Wednesday evening. And normally they are very engaged groups. But of course, COVID has really restricted their activities. We do a number of environmental projects, which of course will become more important because of the new area of focus. We normally do an international coastal cleanup project in September on the International Day. Last year we were unable to do that because the government said no beach cleanups because of the gatherings that are involved. We have continued with tree planting, however, and not sure what will happen this September with the beach cleanup. Last year we managed to have an outdoor, small, socially distanced gathering to promote awareness of polio, which we did sell some crocuses, which were actually donated by a club in England for us to do fundraising for Polio Plus. And we sold finger puppets to the children. We also had an excellent guest speaker from the Polio Survivors Rotary Action Group. So that has continued, and hopefully we'll be able to do even more this year if COVID numbers go down. But at the moment, that is not a certainty. We've done a few relief projects for COVID, masks, food packages, you know, and we've given food vouchers, grocery vouchers to some people, families. We've also given out tablets to students who need them for the online schooling. Many of our children have not been able to benefit from the online school because they didn't have devices. And of course, there's an issue with internet for many children as well. But we did select children who, you know, were really in dire need, those who have exams coming up and so on, and made sure that some of them have tablets to use. And that is an ongoing project also, by the way. One of the benefits of COVID, I think the main benefit is the fact that we have made friends with Rotarians all over the world. And we have had a variety of visitors at most of our meetings from as far away as Indonesia and Nigeria, as well as from other parts of the district, North America and Britain, quite a few from Britain as well. So that has been the silver lining of the cloud of COVID. And I'm hoping that one day we'll meet a lot of these people face to face. Of course, the thing that we miss the most is the fellowship and the fun that we have when we actually get together. We did manage to have our presidential installation face-to-face this year in an outdoor location, but we are still having our Zoom meetings for the time being. And that's the end. If you have any questions, I am willing to answer a few questions. I'm not sure how much time I have, Grace.
Okay, Dominica, we're going to save the questions for in the breakout rooms.
Sure.
And then once we've come out of breakout rooms, then we will also open it up to questions. So thank you very much, Dominica. We're going to get back to your club shortly, but I'm now going to share the Rotary Club of New Dawn's presentation, if you just bear with me. Can everyone see that?
Yes, we can.
Good evening, IPP Grace and members of the Johannesburg Rotary Club. Thank you for putting together this wonderful Expand Your Network initiative, for inviting us to be a part of it, and for giving us the opportunity to connect with our fellow Rotarians from the Rotary Club of Montego Bay. Tonight, we'd like to tell you all about the Rotary Club of Johannesburg New Dawn and about the one project that has become closest to our hearts during these tough times of COVID. The club was chartered in 2009 with 20 members and has gone from strength to strength. Most of our members are women at 61.5%, and half of members are 60 or younger, with the average age being 58.7. We now have 52 members, 19 of whom were inducted in the past year alone, 16 of them in just the past 4 months. We have lost only 2 members over the period. At the recent District 9400 conference, past District Governor Anne-Marie Mostert recognised the club's membership achievement, our exceptional leadership, our giving to the Rotary Foundation, our newsletter, and the regional and district appointments of members. We are a vibrant, dynamic club with an ethos of fellowship. We have been meeting on Zoom since the COVID pandemic started, with socially distanced hybrid meetings when infection rates allowed. However, this has made it a challenge to get to know our new members and to integrate them into the ebb and flow of the club. Our president is Ian Widdop. This year, instead of sticking to the usual governance format of a president and a board, the club has adopted a slightly different approach. We have monthly interim presidents and a governing council that is made up of representatives of various portfolios. This gives us the opportunity to mentor new members, to include them in the running of the club, and to groom them for leadership positions in the future. The president has a few advisors drawn from our pool of past presidents. We hope to work with local and international partners to provide solutions that empower the youth, create partnerships with communities, and give children in need sustainable support. We try to align our fundraising initiatives to these goals and get all our members to play an active part in achieving them. Our biggest achievement to date has been obtaining a global grant for 450,000 Rand for the Link Trust, in partnership with the Rotary Club of Parkdale High, Park Humber in Toronto, Canada. The grant was approved in December 2018. The multi-year grant will help the Link to expand its efforts to reach underprivileged children who are struggling to cope with literacy and numeracy skills because of their circumstances at home. Hundreds of volunteers, including some of our own Rotarians, give the children one-on-one assistance with specially developed teaching aids. One of our smaller projects is the blanket drive, usually held at the start of winter. This year we donated 160 blankets, half to the Woodside Sanctuary for the profoundly mentally disabled, and the rest to the Christchurch Christian Care Centre, a home for children. We also provide bursaries to 2 pupils at the centre. In a local partnership with the Rotary Club of Northcliffe, it took us just 1 week to transform this 5-year-old cerebral palsied girl's life by finding her a wheelchair and having it delivered to her home in Alexandra. We also get involved in projects a little further afield, like this creche in the village of Shlivokani near the Kruger National Park. It's called Ngalava, which means Noah's Ark, and it nurtures 64 preschoolers. Together with the community, we've installed tanks to collect rainwater. There's no running water in the area and no electricity either. When the community obtained donations of bricks and cement and started building a new classroom, we helped put a roof on it, installed a floor, a door, window frames and a carpet, and had it painted. All it needs now is a ceiling. For Mandela Day, Rotary Club of Johannesburg New Dawn members donated 4,350 Rand to CAPESA, a not-for-profit organisation that tries to prevent violence against women and children. We also support Donataloo, an initiative to provide toilets in schools with no sanitation facilities. It was founded by one of our Rotarians, Helene Bramwell. Donataloo was one of the recipients of the funds raised from our biggest fundraiser, our annual Golf Day, which was held in March. Despite COVID, it was our most successful yet, with 28 fourballs, and we plan to hold another one in October. We have just launched a new fundraiser called The Power of the Pennies, which operates along the lines of a 100 Club. At the start of the COVID pandemic, it became clear to us that hunger was going to become a pressing issue. With all economic activity shut down overnight, people already living hand to mouth were left unable to buy food. One of the projects we've chosen to support is the Alexandra Education Committee. Here's more about it from Rotarian Paul Channon, one of its directors.
We were really meant to be about education, but with all the hardships of the last couple of years, we've got to help people put food on the table. And once again, thanks to New Dawn for allowing that to happen. Last year, we carried out a major campaign and raised 2.5 million rand, both in donations and in food contributions. And we were able to help a significant number of people. And New Dawn were a serious contributor.
The project we are focusing most of our efforts on at the moment is the Rotary Seedling Farm, which blossomed from a simple opportunity to buy and donate seeds to vegetable gardens at schools, community centres, and even a football association. The farm is partially funded by a $25,000 Rotary International emergency grant, which was given to a group of clubs, including Johannesburg New Dawn. President Ian will tell you more about it.
This is the building of a long-term sustainable position in the value chain of the growth and supply of vegetables for home consumption in less advantaged communities in Johannesburg to start. A project that began unpromisingly in the supply of taxi sanitization products bloomed into an investment in what has become the Rotary Seedling Farm, situated on the playing fields of one of our Interact schools, the National School of the Arts in Braamfontein. Our partnership with the Urban Agriculture Initiative has been reinforced by the recruitment as members of this club of the two prominent young people, Brendan Martins and Danielle Guedes, who lead the UAI. The Rotary Seedling Farm is hydroponic, compact, and will supply 750,000 seedlings per annum, 15,000 a week, to urban farms, schools, institutions, home backyards, somebody's windowsill, for growth into vegetables for consumption and/or commercial transaction. This process is supported by the employment of cadres of young people as coaches and supporters of the people doing the growing in those communities. The target goal of sustainable urban farms in inner city Johannesburg is in excess of 100. The benefit of this initiative will be felt far and wide across the disadvantaged communities of Gauteng.
Here's a bit more about the farm from Rotarian Daniel Guedes, a project director at the Urban Agriculture Initiative.
The UAI is an NGO that was established in 2017 to drive the development of urban agriculture in the Johannesburg CBD as well as the broader Gauteng region. We have 11 hydroponic farms and 2 seedling farms in the Johannesburg CBD region. In 2020, the Rotary Club of Johannesburg New Dawn partnered with the UAI to build its own seedling farm, which was finalized just before winter in 2021. We are now working with community-based projects which have been identified by various Rotary clubs, where we plan to supply seedlings and provide a level of agricultural training to the beneficiaries at the projects. We are currently working with 15 organizations and will be planting the first 9,000 seeds at the end of July. These seedlings will be ready to be planted in the summer season in September 2021.
We hope you've enjoyed our presentation, and we look forward to meeting you in the breakout room.